Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started. I think it's a little bit after 12. We've given everybody their couple minutes to get here. My name is Michael Oldham. I'm with the Oldham Team. It's my lovely wife, Amy, over here. We are local real estate agents in the DFW area. We've worked pretty much everywhere from Gainesville down to Burleson and Greenville, farther than Greenville, over west of Fort Worth. So we've worked all the different areas. We've been in real estate for about 8 years in this market. So Amy was in mortgage for over 20 years. I was a school teacher and a high school basketball coach for just over 20 years. Started looking for something we could do together. Real estate kind of fit into that. So here we are. Feel like we were ready to start hosting these lunch and learns and things after being in the market. Amy had plenty of experience in it, more than me. Now I feel like I can't get this. Here's Amy and I's information. We're brokered by EXP. I'll put this up later. I think all of you through the e-bite and things probably have our info. I am going to pass around the can't get that one to move. I'm going to pass this sign-in sheet around, if you would. You could just pass it behind after you're done. So a quick overview of our lunch and learns. This picture, you probably wonder why there's a picture of a basketball team up there. This was my basketball group from McKinney North. I personally think they might have been the best group of collaborators I was ever around, because they all put any selfishness to the side in order to work toward one goal. And that picture is taken at I don't even know if it exists anymore, the Frank Irwin Center in Austin. We were playing in a state tournament. So that is proof of the collaboration that they had. What we look to do out of these lunch and learns is to collaborate with other agents in this area, get to know each other better, and ultimately help each other. This industry is changing very quickly. Everything in our society is changing very quickly. Once COVID hit, everything kind of took a 10-year rocket ship trip to the future. Everything that was going to be 10 years down the road is here. And so my thinking is everything that we're thinking is 10 years down the road now is pretty much close to being. So I want us to be staying ahead of that. And I want to be able to try to bring some of that to the group. Our room, this great room, is sponsored by Mr. Chris Madrid and Caprock Home Loans. Chris and I have been working together for the entire 7.5 years I've been in real estate. He was one of the first people I met when I got into the business. He's meant a lot to me as a mentor, and just basically trying to help any way he can to see our business be successful. So do you want to come up and say anything today, Mr. Madrid?
Well, I just want to quick introductions for we really all came to hear and see what's so just one of the quick things that we always like to talk about. The pitfalls I feel like in the real estate industry are you received a pre-qual from a lender and you get under contract and you find out the customer doesn't qualify, right? So what we try to do ahead of time, like a lot of lenders are changing, is we've got to review docs, right? You've got to review income, you've got to review credit to make sure that you are sending an approval out on an actual qualified buyer. I had a client that came to me this past week, pre-approved by Chase. They were already looking at homes. They got excited about a home. The agent was like, hey, can you please call my lender? And after reviewing income docs, they legitimately don't qualify, right? So those are things that it's a big waste of time for you. It's a huge waste of time for the customer. So just make sure whoever you're referring to, I hate to say that they know what they're doing, but please that they know what they're doing. So we're always available. We work new work, obviously. So the relationships that I've been able to build over the last 20 years know that, hey, if they call me on the phone, if we have to have a tough conversation with the customer, they don't work, I'll be able to handle that as well. So we're here to serve in any way that we can. Thank you guys so much for being here. Back to you, Chris. Yeah.
You know, just to speak on what Chris is talking about, we had clients this weekend. Chris's company actually has a program where they will buy the house for their client and then sell it back to them. So you kind of can be a cash buyer going into it. And Chris's company is basically buying this house. So I'm dealing with his company, not my buyer. And it was late Sunday night and they were signing documents and getting everything done that we needed to get done to get executed. So I can't speak enough about Chris. If you get a chance to give him a chance, I would highly recommend it. And today's launch sponsor is Mr. Chris Bedford of Viking Home Inspections. He is a professional inspector, but I think he spends most of his time now building the business. So come on up, Chris, and I'm going to let you talk, and I'll get this to him where you need it.
Yep, so my name is Draper. Viking Inspections is my company. I've got about 4 guys that work for me, and we service the entire DFW metroplex. And been in business for about 10 years or so. So, but today I wanted to talk really quickly about a marriage between 2 pieces of information that practically everyone uses in the transaction. And it regards the home inspection report and then repair estimates. So as I understand it, repair estimates are about as fun for you guys as lead generation. So if we can bring a solution to you that brings those repair estimates to you, and all you have to do is plug those numbers into our software's repair request builder to create a repair amendment that you attach to your document as needed. That takes you about 5 minutes, maybe 10 at the most. Would that be helpful? And so that's why I kind of want to go through today. So here's our inspection report. And here's our report. And it's kind of nifty. It tells you just at a glance, you know, what are some your larger items that you might be concerned about. Some recommendations, so normal, typical kind of deficiencies, and then some maintenance items. So all of our reports pretty much look like this. But so you obviously get the report. You get the report before we leave the property, by the way. And then if you like, you or your client, to be honest with you, most of the time our clients buy this report because there is a fee to it. There's a charge for us to submit it to a third party, and then we take some time to also review it. But there's a number of different ways you could do this. You could split the cost. You could buy it if you wanted to make your life easier, however you wanted to do it. But anyway, we send the report off, and what we get back in about 6 hours is this repair estimate report. And it has a summary with all of your major contractors, major trades that would be involved, and the total for that particular those collection of items from our report. And then you get a total here. Then down below, you'll see each item broken out with what the issue was, the action that's required, and then the cost for that. And so what we're going to do today, I've got some highlighting here just to kind of make it easy, is we're going to take several of these items and plug them into the repair request builder that's built into our report software that you and your clients can use. So in the upper right-hand corner, there's a report tools option. So we say repair request builder, and it brings up every item in our report. Now, the fantastic thing about this repair request builder is that it keeps our report intact. It keeps all of our verbiage intact, all of our pictures in case contractors, homeowners have questions about the location of these particular items. And it keeps our recommendations intact. So that's the great thing, because a lot of times what I've seen is agents will rewrite everything into a completely separate document, which is super time consuming, and then submit that, where I don't think you really need to do that. You can just use this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this repair estimate report. So again, this is the report that was submitted. They built this report off of, it is similar repairs, the cost for similar repairs in this zip code. Okay, so be aware of that. It is zip code specific price. So I've got, like I said, I've got some of these highlighted. And so we're just going to plug these in. So now this is loosely following what an agent actually did and submitted. So there was some carbon monoxide detectors that were not in place. So all we have to go over here do is go over here to our report on the carbon monoxide item, which is going to be under electrical. And we're gonna select that one. And then you have two options when you select that. You can either ask for cash in lieu of repairs, or you can ask, you can put a comment in here and say we would like the repair done by you. Now this particular client, this is like maybe a $1.5 million house. This particular client wanted to have their own people do the repairs. So for the most part, this agent was able to plug in the information from the repair estimate report. So carbon monoxide detectors was at 199. We're going to round 199 by 200 round. Then we're going to go back to the repair estimate report. We had some. This next item here is talking about arc fault circuit breakers. The client wanted that addressed, so we're going to put that one. And the total for that one was $1690. We're going to plug that number in for a credit. There were some outlets that were wired improperly. We're on this item here. That one just came in immediately. And find that item. It's wired improperly. We have locations and pictures of this stuff, so everybody knows where it's at, where to find it. 215. And we had some GFCI outlets missing in the laundry room. This. And that was looks like 290. Now, of course, you know, handyman would be a different trade that could probably be cheaper. It just depends. These are estimates, so it is important to remember that. But it should get you close. If you come in and we do an inspection on Thursday or Friday, and you're on the short option, and you don't have enough time to get contractors out there to do all of the due diligence, this is a great solution for the client. Plus, the client will have all the information for future repairs, future projects. They have all of this for them. All right, so we have another one here. We have bonding for the corrugated stainless steel gas line that needs to be bonded. So let's find that one. And they estimated 473 for that, so we'll say 475. You can see it only takes a few minutes. Plug this information, then magic happens. Sediment trap for the furnace. Then that's all for 275 for that. There's a few other things in here, but that's okay. We can skip those. But the idea is that you can just enter it, just plug and play. Really, is all you need to do. And then at the end, what you'll do is you'll go to create up at the top. And it will create that repair request list for you that you can submit or attach as your repair amendment to the seller. Or to the listing agent for repairs. And you can see it's a beautiful, beautiful PDF. All you have to do is download it or send it directly from the software. And it has the credit requested, the item. Again, it has all of our content in it. So nothing has to be rewritten. And it's very clear and concise, it has location information. Our pictures, again, are super important because we've got a number of calls back where we include a picture, but then the listing agent does it. And it causes some confusion, and we have to tell them where it's at and resend the report and things like that. So this makes it all super, super easy. And then at the bottom, it tells you the total amount requested. So in a nutshell, this is really about bringing you a solution, potentially solution that you can use as you see fit to bring these repair estimates to you, plug it into our software's repair request builder to create this document and send off. So hopefully this is a super big reduction in time for you guys if you're to use it. So that makes sense? Okay. Any questions? Okay.
So just use an algorithm. Is that right?
It's a combination of AI, but they also have people that look at the, yeah. The repair, you're talking about the repair estimate report?
Yes.
Yep, exactly. But you can see it only took me a few minutes to enter those several items. There's several more on this list, but literally 10 minutes or so, depending on the size, of course. You got your repair estimate, or I'm sorry, your repair amendment done. Makes sense?
You use the comment section if you aren't asking for credit, if you want to use it.
You can add whatever comment you want. Yep. So if I were to select this one and I'm not doing credit, you have a comment. There's a button here that automatically says repair requested. So it's up to them to make that repair. Or if you want to say, repair requested by a qualified contractor or licensed contractor or licensed trade or anything like that, it just makes it super easy.
This goes to the buyer, and then if the agent wants to call and pay extra.
It goes to you. It goes to both of them. So the cost for the report itself is $149, and again, it's everything in our report. And you guys can make a decision, obviously, with your client on what to include in the repair amendment. Pools are additional 25, so 175 per pools and home.
So, but that's not the office inspection.
No, that's just right. But what's your time worth? I don't know if you guys have ever sat down and say, okay, what is my hourly rate when I'm doing something? What am I paying this stuff? If it's it should be fairly high. If it's around the $20 range, then probably need to make some adjustments. But at 149, so we'll call it 150. I don't know how long it takes you to do repair amendments or contractors to get them out, but let's just say $50 an hour, which is actually still really low. It should be a lot higher than that. That's 3 hours worth of work. So if you're going to spend more than 3 hours doing this stuff, or even two, at $75 an hour, not $2 million thing. But yeah, it makes it super easy, and the data comes to you. You don't have to go get it. So we're just looking to offer convenience for everybody. Not offer some good solutions. We're really good at that. I feel so. Cool. All right. You can just leave this up. Okay, let's see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will also, Chris Svensson is one of the first people I met when I got into the industry. I hope that stating this shows how loyal I am. Try to be loyal to the people that do me right. I'm not somebody that expects everything to be perfect. I just expect you to take care of it if it's not. And Chris has done that several times with clients where it might not even been his fault, but he has a lot of ancillary products when you use his service that some insurance type policies and things of that nature.
Yeah, just a quick note, we offer repair inspections, different scans, foundation elevation surveys, inspection, inspections, full inspections, turbine, all that's what it is.
Of technology. All right, Mr. Draper.
You ready?
No.
We'll probably do the entire thing without slides. I do this every day.
All right, real quick intro. I know most of you probably know Mr. Draper here, but I want to give him a proper introduction. So Coach Kyle Draper is a former youth pastor, turned roofer, which I think a lot of us have maybe turned in at one point in our lives. I've on a few roofs myself. And then turned entrepreneur, and now he's a social media expert. Kyle is a certified speaker and teacher with the John Maxwell team. He's been married for 12 years to his wonderful Atlanta.
Yeah.
And has 2 children with one on the way. Make sure we put that out. So Kyle's reputation is that he creates storytellers out of people that don't really know they're storytellers. And that's what he's going to be here to speak with us about today. He is my personal video coach. I've made a concerted effort in this year to really get on the video because I think it's very, very important. Because when I watch YouTube and when I watch DirecTV and I see a blank screen up there with no commercial on it, it tells me all that ad money has gone somewhere else. And it's all gone to your phone. And it's all gone to your competition that's trying to get in front of your community, which is your contact list, in my opinion. So I think video is very important. Like I said, the purpose of these lunch and learns is to keep us as a group ahead of the curve. And I think video is going to do that. Coach Draper has spoken at thousands, 2,000 of realtors. He just got in from Cincinnati last night to be here with us today, so I appreciate that. A few places he has spoke, the AIME's National Sales Rally, Movement Mortgage Corporate, Mortgage Bankers Association in Orlando, the National Association of Realtors. So we don't just have somebody off the street speaking to us today. So with that, I'll welcome Kyle Draper.
That's right. I'm a very big deal. So I'm glad you guys be here today. How do we feel about video? We're doing it? We're not doing it? When we do it, we hate it. Like when we do it, we hate it. What do we hate about it? Yeah, super uncomfortable, right? What else?
I'm okay with it. I guess I just don't have like the whole, how do I edit it after I'm done with it? What the heck do I do with that piece? And so it's like,
Sure. Yeah, so why even do it if you don't know how to actually finish it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For sure. That's real life. And that's why I love that Chris talked about, like, do you know how much you're worth an hour? Because it's unbelievable how often, especially realtors, y'all will just be in the weeds of stuff. And I'm watching going, somebody will do that for $20. For $20, somebody will do that. And you're going to spend all night doing it. What are we doing? We got to stop being salespeople and realize we're business owners. And we got to shift our mindset, right? And so who's doing video now? Ray, if y'all don't know Ray is today is day 16 of a 30-day video challenge that he's a part of. So he has done a video 16 days in a row. So I don't think anybody in here is going to be able to beat that in the last 16 days. But are we already consistently doing video? You started yesterday? I love it. So you did a video yesterday. Have you done a video yet today? Okay. Are we going to? That's right. Because y'all know, I am only as good as the actions I can get you to take. Right? So when I get to travel and speak and people are like, oh, you're amazing, you're so funny. As I used to love all of that. Now that I'm actually good at what I do, I'm like, bro, don't tell me I'm funny. Go do a freaking video. Like, that's what makes me feel good. And so that's the key from here is let's take action. And I can pick on Ray because Ray's my boy. How many years ago did we start doing classes together? At least 2. And it might be 3. So I've been teaching Ray video for 3 years. He just chose to start 16 days ago. And it wasn't in my program. Okay? So I'm a little butthurt about it. I'm proud of him. But there's a part of me that's like, what the heck, dude? What did I not do to get you to move that needle? This is where the world is. Agree or agree?
Agree.
Right? And so what I want us to think about, how does this work? When I touch this button, is it supposed to go to the next thing? We'll just do it like this. We'll just touch it. We'll go old school. All right. For most of you, unless you got into real estate in the last 2 years, this was real estate. Relationship business. I like to get shoulder to shoulder, chest to chest, belly to belly with people. I'm a relationship person. And we all said this. We've all said this. We're salespeople. Put me across the table from anybody except for Ray, and I'm going to win. I'm going to win it. We should all have that level of confidence in ourselves. And I think most of us do. We're in sales. But I don't know if y'all remember, it feels like an eternity ago already, this thing called COVID. Were you a part of that? Pretty wild times, especially for people that have kids. And so that instantly changed everything. Changed everything. We didn't even have a choice anymore. We had to figure out, how do we still woo people? How do we still serve? How do we still relate through this device? What I loved about COVID, maybe the only thing I loved about it, is that it proved how right I have been the whole time about the power of video. Because now, as I get to travel the country, I run into people everywhere I go, and they have to remind me. Michael had to do it this morning. He had to remind me, this was the first time we're meeting in person. Because we've been on video chats together, we've watched each other's videos, and so Michael is an actual friend. And I just walked in the room and was like, bro, what's up? I introduced myself to Amy because I don't know her, but my mind didn't even register. Oh, I don't actually know Michael if we have to be in person to know each other. Guys, the game is changing. And here's what we have to understand about this. Our brains are very primitive. And so my brain doesn't know the difference in communicating with Michael on Zoom or communicating with Michael at a Starbucks. It doesn't know the difference. My brain just feels the feels. It has the experience. And then when I leave or when I turn Zoom off, my brain doesn't go, hey, remember, you don't really know him. That was a Zoom call. And so while many of you guys are playing checkers, people doing video every day are playing chess. And we're whooping your butt because I'm present everywhere all the time. This is the power of this. And so what I want us to realize is, you may never get over the discomfort that comes with it. It's uncomfortable. I hate it. I don't know if it makes me the worst social media expert ever to say that I hate social media. And a lot of people are like, well, of course you're good at this, Kyle. You love this. No, I don't. I love the outcome of my efforts. People that are like, I love working out. I'm like, you are a liar because it sucks. Because you got big old muscles and you're wearing a white shirt, so they look even bigger. Right? And you probably love it. And it's so gross. I hate that. And so I'm trying to figure this out. And here's what I've had to say. Right? I worked out 22 times in January. And every single time I had to go, remember the outcome, remember the outcome, remember the outcome, because I'm never going to fall in love with this part. It just is what it is. Are there people that love video? Yes. But I believe that there's also a fear with loving video, because if you love yourself on it too much, I believe you become a version of yourself that most people won't even like. And so if you can keep a humility about you because it's uncomfortable for you, it changes the game. And so I want to talk us through a bunch of different stuff, but I love being in smaller environments like this now because I don't get to anymore. All right, Chris and I have probably done 50 of these with 10 people in the room, 20 people in the room. Now I'm traveling around with 50, 100, 1,000, And so we can actually like talk to one another and have a conversation. You disagree with me and we can talk about it. That's what I want today to be about. So if we don't make it through the slide, I don't care. As long as we leave here with a newfound understanding and a belief in ourselves that even though this is uncomfortable, this is still the greatest opportunity for me to make an impact. Is that fair? So what I want us to think about is that I believe for most of you, you have been taught poorly. We just had this conversation in the DMs, in you, right? You've been taught poorly how to even use social media. Most of you probably didn't use social media a ton before real estate. So as you get into real estate, they teach you sales, they equip you, and then somebody said, hey, you see all those things over there? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. You can sell there. That's the way we're taught. Social media is an extension of our sales. And so no wonder, for many of you, all you know how to do is pimp out your real estate business there. Your listings, your buyers, your closings. Maybe you'll throw a random tip in there, but like the tip is this big and your logo is this big. Right? Like it's like, what are we doing? How do we look at that and think that's valuable to somebody? They can't read the tip, but man, my logo looks so good. This is how I've been taught. We've got to completely redo it. We've got to realize that social media at its core is designed to be social. And so if we would see it as a place to truly build and nurture relationships, now I've built enough rapport with people to at some point, you're going to either buy what I have or refer me to someone that will. What I feel is most powerful for me on social is that I treat my social media as a straight up referral platform. I don't sell there. I rarely ask for business. I am simply creating value for people. Because here's what I think we don't understand about selling. At least I didn't understand this until the last couple of years. If I try to sell to Ray, how many times do I get your money? One time. Now, maybe right in real estate, maybe it's not just one, but 5 years from now or 4, whatever. But in the moment, it's one. But how many people do I have to piss off to get to Ray that are now in my wake of destruction? Because all I care about is, it's all about numbers. It's all about numbers. All these no's are going to give me these yeses. So I'm going to just keep shoving it down people's throats, shoving it down people's throats, shoving it down people's throats. Yes. And your neighbors freaking hate your guts. And so what I learned about sales through social is that if I could just love and serve Ray, Ray's going to refer me to 10 people that'll buy what I have. This is why I love that I've been trying to get Ray to do video for 3 years. 16 days ago, he finally said yes. Not because of me, but he still gives me credit. And I'm cool with that. And as Ray does video better, and people that know Ray know he hasn't been a video guy, and they go, Ray, bro, how are you doing this? You know whose name will be in his mouth at some point? Mine. We can't do this if we're just hardcore selling people all the time. And so we have to completely reshape the mindset we're bringing to this. So even for those of you that like you're doing video semi-consistently, that's great because that's a piece of it. But if we take the wrong mindset to the right platform, we still get the wrong results. And so we've got to realign everything we're doing so that we can do this effectively. Does this make sense? So I want us to realize, because we live in a world now where everybody wants the easy button. Everybody wants it. Chris is trying to create it through Viking. But then you say it costs money and people are like, well, that's not easy anymore. And it's like, okay, let's just all be nonprofits, right? We'll just all be nonprofits. No one will have any money. We'll all live on the streets, right? Because we just want to be givers. Convenience doesn't make us money. Name anything healthy in your life And then ask yourself if it's convenient. The answer is no. To have muscles like that. You think he has to sacrifice other areas of his life to have muscles like that? Or did you buy those? Is that a padded shirt? Right. Guys, it takes sacrifice. Anybody in here that says like you genuinely love your spouse? Marriage is hard. It takes sacrifice. You think you're a good parent? Parenting is hard. It takes sacrifice. And so for any of us to think like, I want a better real estate business. I don't want to pay income. That's not real life. Go join however many thousands of you guys have left the industry in the last 3 months. Because they signed up going, it looks so easy. And then they were like, whoa, nope, just kidding, it's not. And so if you want to do social media well, in my opinion, we have to come into agreement with convenience doesn't make you money. It doesn't make you money. It's hard work. I do video every day. And it's not because I'm a social media expert. It's because I've made a commitment to the impact that it has on my business. Therefore, an impact in my life. And so if you leave this room going, okay, well, I kind of buy into some of that, but like, it needs to be easier. It's not going to be. And here's why I believe it's not. Because this is right here. When we turn this thing on, this is the most uncomfortable mirror we will ever look in. Because while some of you that I'm friends with, like you're proud of me, you think I'm amazing. When I look at it, I think of things about myself that you don't know. I might think of the fight that I had with my wife last night that was my fault. When will that ever stop? Because the only way for it to stop is for me to like truly become this arrogant, narcissistic monster that truly believes like I'm God's gift to everyone. You're so lucky to be here, right? Well, that's not going to work either. And so we just have to realize, I believe there's always going to be a layer of struggle. And when we understand it and just embrace that, it changes the game for us. So convenience does not make us money. And we're not going to spend a lot of time going through data, but I want us to just think about it. Is it on here? Okay, good. I took it off. Nope, I didn't. Right? It still says 2022. So forgive me. We've been saying for 2 years that video will claim 80% of search results. We're there. Google anything, what comes up first? Video. Anything. I want to be a part of that. Like, I don't want to be like, I'm on page 3. You know, I'm pretty proud of that. Nobody comes to page 3. I didn't even know page 3 existed, except for when I was looking for myself. So we've got to embrace this. Also, think about like, does anybody remember all the way back when Instagram came out? And their big thing was playing into the old adage that a picture's worth 1,000 words. And we were so excited about posting pictures. The good old days. Well, now it's being estimated that 1 minute of video is worth 1.8 million words. Think about that. 1.8 million words. It's unbelievable. Nah, I don't want to be a part of that. I'm old school. I didn't need that 10 years ago when I started in this industry. Like, if that's true for you, why do you have a car when you could just have a horse? Because at some point in the early 1900s, when Henry Ford was like, look at this. You know what a lot of people said back then? Stupid. Our horses are great. And you think about the moronic people that were galloping around on their horse and then boom. And they were so committed to that horse. And we can look at every decade, right? That something comes out and there's early adopters of it, and then there's naysayers of it. Don't be on the wrong side of this. Because, Ray, if you're not careful, right, you'll get to day 30, be so proud of yourself, and then you'll be like, I need a break. And you're going to take a week off, and old Ray is going to creep back in those 7 days, and a week off is going to turn into 6 months off. That's how life works. And so we've got to do this different. And I already talked about that. I don't want to talk about that. So what we have to understand too is that I believe that social media is hard, but trying to do social media as someone else is impossible. Your friends know who you are. Your friends know the personality type that you have. Your friends know if you're funny or you're not funny, or in your attempt to be funny, even though you're not funny, it is funny. Like, your friends know all of these things. Your friends know if you like to make up words. I love making up words. I did a 3.5-hour podcast in Cincinnati yesterday. It was crazy. And I think I made up 4 words. 2 of them were actual words. And the producer was like, okay. It's just my thing. But people that know me, you're around me long enough, you're going to know that I'm going to say something or combine 2 words, and you're going to be like, that's who Kyle is. But then isn't that the stuff we end up cutting from our videos? We'll mess that up, boop, cut it. And so then who you portray yourself to be now in front of the camera is not who you had drinks with your friends as last night. It's not who you were at church on Sunday. And so now you are creating some videos, but your friends watch like 10 seconds and they're like, ooh, like, who is this? That's not my friend. So we gotta let this go. You guys don't need to be me. I'm not trying to be you.
Don't you think that's a reason some people don't even like social media?
100%. 100%.
They want to be themselves.
Absolutely.
And they feel big stuff up.
Yep.
Yep.
And now we add real estate into this. And actually, I know that for a fact that this is a word. I'm probably not going to spell it right. Something like that. Maybe there's an extra C in there. I don't know. There's not an industry on the planet that is more narcissistic than ours. There's not one. It is the worst. It's the worst. And so the reason we struggle to be consistent is because if we're not careful, you act a certain way around your girlfriends, a certain way around your family, a certain way around your college friends, a certain way when you get around other brokers, right? And so when I say you need to do more video, your question that you ask yourself is, but which version of me am I supposed to be right now? Because when I'm with my boys, probably gonna drop some F-bombs, probably gonna talk inappropriate, but like, if I do that in a video, like, my church friends will be mortified. In the 90s, our lives were lived in compartments. You get drunk on Saturday night, show up to church on Sunday morning, and your church friends didn't know you were drunk, and your drinking friends didn't know you were religious.
Actually, the lunchroom in high school is where everybody found out what was going on.
100%. So we've lost all of that. And so when people ask me, how are you so good at this? The first answer is, because I am the same every moment of my life. Madrid and I, we've been teaching class together for 7 years almost. I hope he would say, I'm the same Kyle today that I was 7 years ago when we taught our first class. I'm the same. I'm way better at what I do. Better looking than I was back then, right? Hopefully I might have a little bit more money in the bank than I did 7 years ago. But I'm the same person. And so it's why I can do Facebook Live at midnight. Because at midnight, I'm no different than at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 9 a.m. We gotta change this stuff. We gotta get better. And so we're not gonna spend a lot of time here because we don't have a lot of time. But I just want us to realize that like these are some of the excuses that we have. And if we're being honest, we've probably almost all had all of them at some point. We all feel this. I feel it every day. It's a struggle. Even I think the only one I hadn't felt before was the "you're too old." And then in November I turned 40 and all of a sudden I'm a freaking grandpa. I mean, it's unbelievable, like just what it does for your psyche to go, God, 4 in front of my age? What is happening? It's real life. But here's what I've learned. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. We got to let this stuff go. And if you want to do a ritual of some sort, like write the ones on paper that you struggle with the most and like literally set them on fire in your backyard. Like do a physical ritual of I am letting go of all the things that I've allowed to hold me captive in my life. It could be fun. And if you burn your patio down and you video it, what an incredible video that'll be. You know, your millions of views will pay for their remodels.
Your first video.
So I want to give us quickly what I would call my 4 keys to video. I don't believe that any one of them are more valuable than the other. I believe that you can leave this room and choose to get better at one of them, and you're already better and good enough to be doing video. But they all matter. And where most of us struggle is, we'll come back to that, is that from the very beginning, like we have no idea who our audience is supposed to be. Like, you want to buy and sell more houses, but if you're not easy, if you're not, careful with it, if I ask you like, hey, who's your ideal client? Most realtors are going to be like, oh, pretty much anybody in Dallas-Fort Worth that can afford it and can get pre-approved and has good credit. Awesome. I don't know who to refer you now. But if you say, oh, I've kind of coined myself like the Queen of Prosper, and I love serving Prosper. My kids go to Prosper schools. We lived here 10 years ago before the boom. And I love everything Prosper. Now I go, oh, great. So every time in conversation that I hear the word Prosper pop up, who do I think about? I'm gonna think about you. So the problem for many of you is because you don't know who you want to serve, you probably have DFW Realtor in your Instagram bio. Take it out today. You know why? Because there's more people in Dallas-Fort Worth than some countries have humans. And I don't know why Lithuania popped into my head, and I don't even know how many people live there, but let's assume it's less than in Dallas-Fort Worth. I guarantee you realtors in Lithuania don't deem themselves Lithuania's realtor. So then why do we just encompass almost 10 million people? Yeah, I'm here to serve all of them. When if we all raised our hands and went around the room and said, how many do you want to sell? How many do you want to sell? How many do you? Somebody's going to say 12. Somebody's going to say 50. Let's just say somebody's crazy and says 200. That's 200 people. It's 200 people out of however many million live here. We got to narrow this gap. We got to understand who we're trying to serve. And so these are just a few questions that you can ask yourself. And I'll give you guys these slides at the end. I'll put a QR code up. You can scan it. You can fill this quick form out. And then my assistant will send you the slides. That's a difference than 7 years ago. I didn't get to say that. 7 years ago, I'd be like, and my assistant will send you. And then I would have sent you the slide 8 days later because I forgot. So we have to know our audience. The other key here is, as you develop content, once you begin to understand your audience, now you can say, well, what do they need? What does my ideal client struggle with right now? So if you love first-time home buyers, well, what do they suck at? Having money. So what if you created like financial literacy content with one of our favorite lenders in the back of the room? And y'all created a series of videos talking through financial literacy. Because if you begin to educate people who are not financially literate, who are they going to trust when they become that and can afford a house? The person that got them there. So we got to understand, who do we want to serve? And then what are their needs? And how can I create content that speaks to those? Is that doable? I think so. Also, Gary Vee says, content is the price of entry to relevance. I got to sit in front of Gary Vee live 2 weeks ago for the very first time. It was incredible. And if you don't know who Gary Vee is, just go Google Gary with the letter V. He's like one of the most followed humans on the planet, probably the world's most famous entrepreneur. And he came from nothing. It's an incredible story. Content is the price of entry to relevance. So I know I'm going out on a limb here, but if November and December was slow, like it probably has been for all of us, if you're not careful, you will go crazy and think, I got to break my processes and redo them. I got to break my systems and redo them. I need a new CRM. I need a new drip campaign. I need a new texter. I need all that. You know what your biggest problem is? You're not relevant. I mean, you didn't wake up in November and all of a sudden suck at life. Like your friends didn't wake up in December and be like, you know what? I don't like Bart anymore. That dude sucks. He's the worst. Like that didn't happen. That didn't happen. But that's where our minds go, right? We love to assume the worst. And so what if we realized if we would just be more relevant, our business is going to get better. I mean, just this morning, I got tagged. I'm speaking in Michigan next month, and they put up a video that I sent them. And so I reshare it. And I just say, I can't wait to be with you guys next month. You know what happens? Other people see it, and some of them just go, dude, this guy's doing it. He's speaking in Michigan. And then other people go, we need to bring him in to our people. And so just by sharing that video, and I didn't put in the text, you should hire me, hashtag sign up. I'm just sharing the value, and I'm letting you come to the conclusion of this dude's awesome. He should probably help train our people. This isn't rocket science. And so what can we do with content? Everything. And we're not going to talk through all this stuff, but where I would focus if I were you guys, this is what I do. I would focus on behind the scenes, education, and interviews. You guys do a horrible job, no offense, of making your actual job look as hard as it actually is. You know why everybody's getting their real estate license? Because y'all make it look like it's easy. So you know why somebody wants to talk your fee down? Because you've made it look like your job is easy. Is your job easy? No, it's hard. But does the world we live in think realtors work hard? No, they don't. So when are we going to take responsibility for that instead of just being like, that sucks? Man, we work really hard. Go behind the scenes. You're out showing in the rain. Hit the record button. You're picking up dog poop in the backyard before an open house. Take a selfie with the dog poop bag. And put up a post that says, y'all think real estate's easy? I have dog poop under my fingernails today. How's your day going? You know how many likes that post is going to get? 400. You know how many people are going to share that? Well, but that doesn't make me look perfect and amazing. And that's the problem. We got to figure this out. We got to do this different. We got to realize that the conversations we have in real life with people, we're not duplicating online. So if you would say it, like if we go to coffee, whatever we talk about at coffee, for the most part, right? We're not saying there's nothing private, but for the most part, if we spend an hour together 90% of that conversation should become future content. The problem that most of us have is we're bad listeners. Because for many of you, you've become the expert of real estate. So then you sit down with me as the buyer, and you may not say this out loud, but in your head, you're like, would this guy just shut up so I can tell him what to do? So I talk, but you don't listen. I asked you questions, but you weren't paying attention. And so you leave there still not knowing what to do videos about. When you should have, this is what I would encourage all of you to do. Carry a notebook with you everywhere, not a tablet. In this moment, it just feels different. Because a tablet, you're getting notifications, right? Unless you've got the what's it called? I don't know what it's called. What's the writing tablet called? I haven't even shown you, so why would you know what it is? This thing? The Remarkable. Does anybody have one of these? It'll change your life. Go get one. Every time you meet with a buyer, seller, a potential referral partner, I would tell them at the very beginning of the meeting, hey, I don't want to miss the things that you say today, so I'm going to take notes while you talk. Is that all right? You know what that allows them to feel? You know how important that makes them feel? And then every question you ask, I'm writing it down. You asked me 10 questions today. How many videos did you just give me? And maybe more, depending on, could we break it down into 5 things? We don't know, but a minimum 10. So do you see now when realtors are like, Kyle, I don't know what to talk about. I want to rip my hair out. Because all that is revealing of is you don't actually care enough. Because guys, I didn't have a me. Like the me that helps Ray get good at this, the me that works with Michael, I didn't have a me 7 years ago. I didn't have somebody that could hold my hand and go, here we go. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm not referring to anyone. I had to 7 years ago genuinely think I just love serving people. And so how can I serve them? I've got to get out of myself and into their world and then begin to recreate what I think that needs. This is how we do it. And the power of the interview, right? When we interview, so we've got Kyle and we got Ray. And so Ray doesn't know this yet, but he's going to be a guest on my podcast in about 2 weeks. Because I want to interview him at the end of his 30-day video challenge and squeeze every ounce of knowledge out of that man's head. We're going to talk about every fear he had to overcome. We're going to talk about every breakthrough that happened. And it's going to be on my podcast. Today, we released the 122nd episode. When I do this, and I have this video, and then my team creates more video content, what's Ray going to do with it? He's going to post it. While Ray's friends celebrate Ray, who are they also getting to know?
You.
Me. This is how we win. You know the greatest power of today, even more so than like what we're learning? It's this guy right here in the back. What's your name? Joe. We haven't even got to meet yet. But it's great to meet you. Guys, stage. Fake events. Do what Michael's doing. The reason I love this is it doesn't matter how many people in the room. I would tell Michael, if you do one of these and no one comes, you better teach it like the room's full. And if Joe's here pointing the camera at you, Joe is producing months worth of content from the 90 minutes we spend in this room. Months worth. My team right now just finished going through 200 Zoom classes that I taught during the pandemic. I have over 1,000 videos sitting in my Google Drive right now. that no one has seen yet. Is that unbelievable? Now, is the video quality going to be perfect? No, we're pulling it from Zoom. Is it going to be as good as anything Joe does? It'll be a 10th, if not a 50th of what he's doing. But most people don't care. They just want to see us be present. And so we've got to change the way we do this. Is this making sense? Any thoughts or questions? We ready to run through a brick wall called video? Say yeah. Second thing is consistency. And this is very simple, right? And this is what I hate so much is I can talk to guys like Muscles in the back of the room, right? And as a fat guy, I need him to tell me that there is a secret I've never heard of as to why he looks like that and I look like this. And in now 40 years of life, 32 of those spent being fat. There's not one. Is there one? Thank you. Right? That's it. That's it. When I eat less cheeseburgers and walk on a treadmill a few times a week, it's unbelievable how my pants fit different. But we love to convince ourselves that there's something out there that you know that I don't because it takes the blame away from me. And so one of the hard lessons that I'm learning in life over the last several years is to take responsibility for everything. Everything. Well, but what about if it's not your fault? Everything. Everything. It's the only way we can win in life. And so we've got to get consistent. And we can break these down and get into the details, and we just don't have time right now. But if you would just get in the habit of recording some type of video every day, it could be a text message to a friend. It doesn't have to be a reel. It could be a DM to somebody. It could be a video to your spouse. But if we can just begin to create this habit, we're going to wake up and go, holy cow, have I done video 16 days in a row? Who am I? We got to create consistency here. And what breaks my heart is the realtors that I know, that they go, you know, Kyle, like I've tried video and it just didn't work for me. And I go, oh, I hate to hear that. Like, how many did you do? 7. And then we're going to reverse all this. I'm going to come back over and go, man, like, I love that you have muscles, but like, it just doesn't work for me. Like, I've tried to get in shape before, and you're going to be like, really? Tell me about that. Well, like, I went once a month in 2022, and like, nothing was different. It's so obvious with that, but for some reason, we come over here to social media, and the same excuse is stupid. All of a sudden, over here is okay. We will convince ourselves, guys, of anything to create comfort. Our brains are wired to create it. And so we've got to fight this and realize that our people need us here. Grant Cardone says, best known beats best. It's one of my favorite quotes on the planet. I love it. Because in real estate, how many designations exist in real estate? 8,000? I think we're making new letters just to have some new designations, I heard. NAR said that the other day. That's not true. They didn't say that. You gotta Google it. I gotta sign up. Like, we're so obsessed with knowledge that I know realtors that like they won't even attempt to sell a luxury property until they get their luxury designation. When the owners of that home don't even know what a luxury designation is. Best known beats best. We become known for what we talk about the most. You want to sell more luxury? Add more luxury type conversations to your content. Go buy rich magazines and start talking about the articles you're reading in them. These are the little things that we do that are going to slowly attract like kind. is powerful. So we got to get better at it. And so this is, and again, if you have the slides, you'll see this. This is something that I taught starting about 6 years ago now, that because of the pandemic, when it took all my speaking gigs away, I had to turn this into a company. So now I have a company called Content Compounding, where we work with realtors and lenders across the country, Michael being one of them, and people send us raw video, and then we do all these things with it. Now, you can do this yourself. Is it going to ultimately be worth it for you to keep doing it when you can pay an editor less than what you make? No. But it's also good to get a baseline understanding of things so that you're not getting screwed over by somebody that's like, it'll be $5,000. You're like, I'm not really sure what this is supposed to cost. I guess that's a good deal. It's not. But if you will just do, forget this word, right? Live gets people being weird, real weird. But if you would just do video, like I record my podcast in video. My podcast editor rips the audio out. Ta-da, it's a podcast. My team rips the video. Ta-da, 10 short videos for Reels, TikToks, YouTube Shorts. My team can transcribe the video. Ta-da, with 5 minutes worth of editing, you now have a blog post. So instead of going, well, I'm just not a writer. I don't know how to blog. I don't know how. Video is the ultimate source for all things marketing because it can be broken down and distributed in every other form of content. It's unbelievable. And y'all remember, I just told you that I now have 1,000 videos sitting in my Google Drive from content that I spent 2 years ago creating. And so now when you guys see me every day and you're like, geez, how's this guy doing? I'm not literally recording a video every day. My team posts 2 videos for me every day from just old content. This is possible for all of you guys. Yes, ma'am.
How long do you normally suggest a video be?
So it's a great question. It depends. Most people are going to solely focus on short content because that's what's kind of sexy right now. And what you're doing is you're robbing yourself of being present on the second biggest search engine in the world, which is YouTube. So I recommend doing like 3 to 10 minute videos. This is how I would start. Can you pop up your phone and do a quick video? Of course you can, but that doesn't take a whole lot of effort, right? That you can do that anytime. But if you'll do 3 to 10 minute videos, this is allowing all of you as educators, that's what you do, right? In real estate, you educate. This allows you to be the most comfortable in front of the camera. Because I'm not going, hey, you need to do booty dances. Like that's what you have to do. And you're like, oh, okay, no, thank you. Right? I'm not 11. But if we're not careful, like that's what, like, if we get so caught up in, well, I got to be funny and I got to do this and I got to do that and you'll never do anything. But if you'll look at the questions that you're asked over time, create 3 to 10 minute videos. Now this can go on a YouTube channel. And then from this, in my company, we create 4 additional videos that are under 60 seconds each.
Use a like TikTok or
TikTok Reels on both Instagram and Facebook, YouTube Shorts. I'll still post my reel on LinkedIn. LinkedIn will announce Reels in about 2027, right? They'll be like, what's up? We've arrived. And we're like, that was 5 years ago, bud. But that's just how LinkedIn rolls. But I'll still post it on LinkedIn anyway, because I have it. Why would I not use it? So this is, to me, the easiest way to do it. And to be the most consistent. You don't have to. That's just how I would recommend it. And then the last thing I want to tell you, and then I'm going to put the last slide up and we'll be done. Guys, we have to be more than business. Again, when you hang out with people, how much do you talk about real estate? Please, God, don't say a lot. Because nobody gives a crap. In the times that Chris and I get to spend time together, We don't talk about mortgages. We actually just spent 10 minutes out there talking about my best friend's failed, what's that called? What is it? Why am I? What did he have? What procedure failed?
Oh,
His SNP. Yeah, you know? Like, it's a super uncomfortable story to tell, much less be a part of, right? So like that's what, like, Chris will tell that story to 10 other people. And you know what that does? It just reinforces me into his life. It's the power of conversation. But if I just, every time I see Chris, if I just walk up to him, I'm like, bro, vasectomy, that's what it is. If every time I see Chris, I'm like, hey, bro, how are your videos? How many videos are you doing? If that's all I ever wanted to talk to Chris about, he wouldn't want to be my friend. And so the same conversations we have when we're just being a human being, we need to create content from those conversations online. If you're into gardening, do some gardening videos. If you love to take your kids to Dave & Buster's, do a video inside of Dave & Buster's. It's half price Wednesdays at Dave & Buster's. I know because I take my kids there. And so when I do a video about it, if any of you end up going, I didn't know it was half price Wednesdays at Dave & Buster's, who are you going to think about every time you go to half price Wednesdays at Dave & Buster's? Checkers versus chess. That's what we're talking about. We got to be more than business. And we're going to, oh, there it is. So if you guys want slides from today, hit your phone, grab your phone, scan the QR code, and it's an easy thing for you to do. It'll also allow you, like I do a newsletter that I send out regularly with tips and tricks. That there's just other ways for us to connect. So I would encourage you to scan it. What questions do you guys have or thoughts?
So you must have different pricing things.
Yes, we do. And I won't take this time up with that. But yeah, if you reach out, yeah, you can check a box that says learn about content compounding, and my team will send you some stuff. How are we feeling? Yes, sir.
Cool thought, especially maybe it's more for YouTube. Great question. You know, stick to one deal, right? So stick to only real estate. One cool thought.
Sure.
Your new garden, right? Stick to garden.
Yes. On YouTube, yes.
Yeah.
That would be more the play.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. But when we're talking about Facebook and Instagram specifically, TikTok's probably a little bit more similar to YouTube, just because TikTok is not where your friends accumulate. It's a complete stranger's platform. But with Facebook and Instagram, we want to have a variety in style of content there, because those are your people, right? They already trust you. So you don't need to farm real estate on them over and over again. They know that. And so that's where we really want to vary that. Does that make sense? Yeah. Other questions? Did we learn anything today? Can we do it? Can we take action with any of this stuff? Thank you for the one soft whisper. Yeah. Okay, so here's if you want to connect with me, there's my website, my social. If you're into podcasts and you haven't listened to mine yet, it's pretty good. At least it should be after 122 episodes. So maybe start at the end, not at the beginning. But thank you guys for being here. Ray?
I got a comment about taking action. How I mentioned it took me about 3 years to get started. One of my biggest regrets, I did start earlier. My light bulb moment happened. My first video may have been 26. And I had a past co-worker I worked with probably 15, 20 years ago. And she said, you know what, it was so nice to hear your voice. She followed me on social media for like the last 4 or 5 years. She liked comments, she would write comments, we would communicate back and forth through replies and things like that. But I hadn't heard her voice in 15 years. She hadn't heard my voice in 15 years. So it just brought up those memories of working together and everything like that. So, like, man, what if I would started this 3 years ago, and I'm even in a relationship with people through my voice, and not just smiling, and I just have to. So, just from my personal experience with getting started, doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to be deep or anything like that. As soon as I did that 20-second video, as soon as I ended, I promised my home started making. And it was just, man, it was good to see. And so I was able to catch up and say,
You're right. Proud of you, bro. I want to end with this. Would all of you, if you got a call and somebody said, hey, we've got 13 home buyers that are going to be in a room tonight, would you come talk to them? I got a room with 13 sellers in it. They need help. Would you come talk to them? Anybody saying no to that? Right. But you know how many views some of your videos are going to get? 13. And if you're not careful, for some reason on the internet, we've called that a loser. And then you're like, why am I doing this? 13 views? Those 13 views can be the same 13 people that would be sitting in the class that you would show up in 10 minutes to speak to. And so do not pervert social media, because how many people does it take to get to a buyer? This isn't a trick question. One. So you could do videos that get 4 views, and only one of those people need to be in the moment where they need what you have. So be consistent, be committed to it, and then we'll all have virtual muscles as big as his one day. All right, I'm done. You.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions for Kyle before we?
We already gave.
Oh, we can.
How did you, when did you do very quick?
About 9 years ago,
No, okay.
on the roof of a house.
Okay. And then how do you doing?
9 years ago. Yeah, and then the level of consistency is grown, but you know, it was at least once a week starting back then.
Hey, Kyle, how would you say if someone has every intention, maybe even a level of comfortability on video, whatever, however, it's finding the time or staying motivated.
Yeah.
Carve out.
Yeah.
We all know that finding.
Yeah. Yep.
How would you say you began? Yeah.
It's finding a willingness to do video anytime, anywhere. So I'll do video in the carpool pickup line. Like we all sit there for 30 minutes. Instead of being like, man, this is the worst. Like I'm wasting my time. Not if you record a video. And you could do a video about real estate, but your background is parenthood. So we didn't talk about it today, but that's what I call passive branding, right? When I do content from the airport, I don't have to be like, look at me, I'm a big time, I'm traveling. I'm at the airport, right? Like, so you're like, dang, he's going to Cincinnati, man, he's going to, I'm just telling the story. And so that's the easiest way. So you've got to become okay with like, I mean, you don't wear makeup, but like for women, you got to be okay to show up every once in a while without all your makeup on. We got to be willing to show up with a hat on. We got to be willing to show up sweaty at the end of a workout because that's real life. If you're only in yoga pants in your videos, then people might begin to wonder if like you actually have a job. But if that's just a part of it, we're humanizing ourselves every time we do it, you know? And so some content we want with nice cameras, but all of our phones shoot in 4K. So we're not losing as much as we think we are by just shooting with the devices in our hands. And I mean, that's what it takes.
It's Kyle, is there a good, word for, again, those of us that like started and stopped, is there a good, like a basic text and like any of that stuff that you would recommend? It's not like, you know, $5,000.
Yeah, I mean, I have a 4K. I used to use this as like my webcam because it's dual, but it just got annoying, like unplugging it and replugging it. And so I bought a $200 4K webcam that is a permanent setup when I'm doing stuff from my computer. And then I have a $30 tripod that sits under my desk. It's a tripod ring light combo. And so I put it on my desk, I plug my phone in, I turn the ring light on, and I just record. Right. So that was $30 on Amazon. That's what I have to do, because again, the fancier the setup, the more excuses you have. So just be very practical with it.
It's almost like the nicer your devices are.
Yeah, because when I record on here, my laptop doesn't take the stick that's in here. So I've got to go find my adapter, plug it into my laptop, take the stick out, plug it into the laptop, export it to my desktop, edit it from my desktop, upload it to Google Drive, and then open Google Drive from my phone and download it back into my camera roll. It's an hour. And the video is 45 seconds. If I would have been on my phone 3 minutes in, it was over. So we just got to be careful. Like, these things can cripple us if we're not.
So would you say you're most active spontaneous authentic on your own moments are on Instagram? Because I've seen you do like I think my trip to the airport.
Yeah.
Like that's where
my permanent content is the same everywhere, yeah. But my stories are usually active on Instagram, not any other platform.
Yeah. That's a good problem.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, at first for sure. But what's even better now, you can't focus on one platform. What I would tell you is there's more value in now is, for the first time ever, vertical video is the favorite of all the platforms now. So if I make one reel that's under 60 seconds, that fits on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. And so if you have it, you might as well go ahead and leverage it. I spent 2 years, when I started 9 years ago, I spent 2 years exclusively on Facebook. And my friends were like, why aren't you doing Instagram? Why aren't you? Because I wanted to know everything there was to know about Facebook. And none of them do what we did back then. And I make a lot of money doing it now. Because people want to work with experts. Nobody wants to work with Dallas Fort Worth Realtor. That's not sexy. That sounds stupid. They want to work with Prosperous Realtor if that's the city they're moving to. And so you could pick either way. And if you need help, you just let me know and I'll guide you to the right place. Yes, 100%. Right. And we're still like the fastest growing age demographic on TikTok is 45 to 52. It's not the biggest, but it's the fastest growing. We're now seeing, like, my brother-in-law is 28. He's back on Facebook because that's where like businesses were going to go look several years ago. So he's now posting more on Facebook. So we can kind of base it that way. But at the end of the day, if it's causing us to like delay action, just start with your favorite platform and let's just start there and then begin to see what it looks like to kind of spread our wings.
Post on that, or you can post on that. Yeah, so that's two.
Yeah. You saying TikTok or Instagram? Yeah, I was like, TikTok can post to Facebook? Yeah. Now on a reel, I don't know. I don't think the reels carry over. So I have to like my strategy is I create a reel. I post to Instagram first. Before I hit post, I copy the caption. And then I open up my personal Facebook, post it as a reel there. I transition over to my business Facebook. I post it as a reel there. Sometimes I then post it as a reel in my Facebook group. And then I open up TikTok. I paste in the description there, post it there. And then I open up YouTube and I make it a YouTube short and I paste in there. Like that's my flow. So reels don't. A regular post or a regular video does, but for whatever reason, an actual reel doesn't go to the other one. So you just have to do it twice. But guys, we get weird about like, wow, that's so much. It takes me 90 seconds to post the same video in 9 places. Right. So I think we really have to like reassess. Why are we using this as an excuse? Right? Like, what's the real culprit here? It's not that this takes too much time. That's just the excuse we've grabbed hold of because I feel ugly today. And instead of embracing the reality, I blame it on, I didn't have time. You know, oh, Ray had a tie on. It made me feel insecure in my denim jacket. So I didn't want to do a video. Like, I'm never going to say that. So I'll just say, man, Michael talked to me after. I just didn't have time. We just have to be aware of it.
I'm old school, so I've only got Facebook.
That's fine.
Instagram has my daughter and my son.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't sure many years ago. Still
Twitter's not relevant I like Twitter for who I follow there, but Twitter's not relevant to us as small business owners. Are you from a corporate background? Okay.
Yeah, what's your
It's all, what's my favorite?
no, what's your
I mean,
I think LinkedIn's awesome. Gary Vee says LinkedIn's right now his favorite platform. But it depends. If I'm coaching a realtor that used to be a stay-at-home mom, I'm not encouraging her to go to LinkedIn at all because that's a professional platform. But if you're saying like I was a school teacher at Allen ISD for a decade, then shoot, you need to be over there because that's where all those people are going to be, you know. But don't just, bite off what you can. This is a marathon. Like Ray's mad at himself that he didn't start 3 years ago. He's going to do real estate for 30 more years. So get over it. You didn't start. You should have listened to me 3 years ago, and you didn't. Could you be a millionaire by now? Doesn't matter, right? Because this is the next 10 years of your life. So stick to it.
And even at 16 days, right before I press forward, it's still like they so there. I don't think you can get to the point of I'm comfortable when it's every day. My assessment of whether the video was good or not, appearance at first, how did I sound, did I stir, now it's about the value, did I give a message across? Should I say it more? Should I say it less? There are different ways that I can deliver. So that's my measurement stick of whether the video so love it becomes easier versus whether it's
Well, that's why you're here today. That's going to change. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's good.
They connect with you when they start sharing.
Yeah. It's good.
All right, well, my few ahas is stay authentic, be yourself, and stay consistent. It's going to be different things for different people. Obviously, we got to find our level of consistency and build on. I think consistency is the most important thing to any success. So video, real estate, whatever it is, you need to stay consistent. And just real quick, why I think video is important and why I spent so much time trying to build a lot of these around social media. I heard talk by John Israel, known as Mr. Thank You, probably a year ago. If you haven't heard him, he's actually going to be speaking here in June for a couple of weeks. But he basically talked about a report from Oxford University that said 88% of realtors will be replaced by technology in about 15 years. And for that guy right there, about 92 to 95% of mortgage vendors are supposed to be replaced by technology in the cell phone. But what stood out in that talk that he gave was like only 2 to 3% educators, consultants, and coaches are going to be irrelevant because of technology. So that switched my thoughts to, I was an educator for 20-some years, so I need to now become the educator to my community about real estate and be that advisor. So when they can just schedule their own showing, walk into the house, walk out, submit an offer, I want them to call Michael Oldham to make sure that offer is credible and all of those things, which I still think will have a place there. So that is why I think it's so important. That's why I am in content compounding. So if you got any questions about how it works, aside from Mr. Draper, you can ask me. I sent a 30-minute podcast, 3 different 4K angles. I had a 4K angle of me, a 4K angle of my guests, and a 4K angle of the whole thing. And his team turned it around in less than 48 hours to give me a 30-minute completed podcast. So they do very great work. I can attest to it because I use it. So with that, appreciate all you guys coming. We do this every single Tuesday, so we prefer you RSVP, so we know how many lunches to get. But if you're just in the area and you want to stop by, we'll be here. Appreciate y'all.